Well, hello and welcome everyone. I welcome you all at this channel. So today we'll be starting with Introduction to Company Law lecture number 3. I hope you have watched lecture number 1 and lecture number 2. If you have not, go and please watch them. Okay, so let's begin with our lecture number 3. Have you heard of a big company like Tata? Tata owns many companies like Jaguar, Range Rover, Tata Salt, Tata Motors, TCS and many more companies. Basically, Tata was founded in 1916 in Mumbai. Then two questions might arise in your mind. The first question is, the one who had founded the company must have died, and the other question is, then how the company is still running if the original owner has died? All these answers are hiding in the concept named perpetual succession. Now what does this concept say? This concept basically says that an incorporate company, as soon as you incorporate a company under an act, it will never die except when it is wound up means closed up by the law. A company, being a separate legal person, is unaffected by death or departure of any member. Maybe there will be change in ownership, but the same entity, despite in the change of ownership, will still be a separate legal person and will keep running on its operations. Now let's study our next characteristic of companies, that is separate property. A company, being a legal person and entirely distinct from its members, is capable of owning, enjoying and disposing of property in its own name. The company is the real person in which all its property is vested and by which it is controlled and managed and disposed of. So let's understand a case law named Mrs. Bachcha Guzdar versus the Commissioner of Income Tax, Bombay. What really happened in this case? So there was a one shareholder named Mrs. Bachcha who had income from agricultural company and one from manufacturing company. Her 60% income was from agriculture and 40% from manufacturing. At that point of time, no tax was charged on agricultural income of the companies. Means basically she had shares in the agricultural company and one in the manufacturing company. At that point of time, the companies which were involved in agricultural revenue, which were getting revenues from agricultural income, they were exempted from tax, but the one who were involved in kind of manufacturing, tax was charged. So here Mrs. Bachcha says that no tax on 60% and it's her agricultural income. Means the company which was earning agricultural income from the tea plantation, she says that her 60% income from that shares should not be charged any tax, because as company is not paying tax, why should she pay tax? And she says that charge tax on only 40% of my income which is from manufacturing. So the case went to the court and judge says that you have no right on property of company. That Mrs. Bachcha was claiming that agricultural company was her company as she was the major shareholder of the company, so you cannot charge tax on my agricultural income. Then the judge said, and agricultural income cannot be considered for income tax because as a distinct person, only company will enjoy it. So hence Mrs. Bachcha had to pay tax on her agricultural income that was from her agricultural company. Now let's understand our next characteristic, that is transferability of shares. The capital of company is being divided into parts. The parts are called shares. The shares are said to be movable property and subject to certain conditions, freely transferred, so that shareholder are necessarily wedded to a company. It means that you can freely transfer your shares. The next point is section 44 of the Companies Act 2000 initiates the principle by providing that the shares held by member are movable property. That is the same thing that is saying in the above point. If the articles do not provide anything of the transfer of share, and regulation contained table F of the company are also exclusively excluded, the transfer of share will be governed by general law relating to transfer of movable property. Now let's understand our next category, that is capacity to sue and be sued. A company, being a corporate, can sue and be sued in its own. It basically means that company can file a suit against anyone and anyone can file a suit against a company. To sue means to institute legal proceeding. That's what I said. A company has right to seek damages where defamatory material published about its affects business. That's what you heard about Whitehead Jr. Some people are publishing the content that Whitehead Jr. is wrong, and it is only a legal angle that Whitehead Jr. initiates the damages that is defamatory material against it. So the Whitehead Jr. is also filing it. That is not related to your business. So if you have not understand it, then no problem. Where video cassettes were prepared by workmen of a company showing their struggle against the company's management, it was held that it was not actionable unless show that contents would be, means if any kind of damage happens to the company, then probably the company can seek damages from that one. But if the damage is not related to any financial damage, only the workmen are showing their struggles, then the company cannot no action can be claimed against the workmen because they are just showing their struggle. That's what it is shown here. Now let's understand our next characteristic of company, that is contractual rights. A company being a legal entity different from its member can enter into contract form the conduct of business in its own name. Means as a separate legal person, a company can too enter into a contract in its own name. Okay, a shareholder cannot enforce a contract made by his company, neither party to the contract. Means if anything wrong happens, the shareholder cannot enforce the contract made by his company because he is a third party to the contract. Now let's understand our next characteristic, that is memorandum of association. What does this memorandum of association? A company cannot go beyond the power state. Basically, memorandum of association is a document which is prepared in the incorporation of a company, that there are certain limitations that a company has to do operation within those limitations. Okay, regulates a memorandum regulates the power and fixes the objects of company and provides the edifice upon which the entire structure of company rests. Now let's understand our next characteristic, that is separate management. Means shareholder will be different, owners will be different, and management will be different. The company is administered and managed by its managerial person. Means separate persons will be hired in the name of the board of directors. The members means shareholder work only to derive management, and the workload will be with management of the company. They do not have effective and intimate control over its working. That's what I said, that the shareholders will only elect board of directors for the conduct of the business of the company. Moving on over to next characteristic of company, that is voluntary association of or profits. A company is a voluntary association for profit. Means it's an association of group of people to make profit. It is formed for the accomplishment of some stated goal in the articles. Okay, and whatsoever profit is gained is divided among its shareholder or saved for the future expansion of the company. Only there is an exception. Only a section 8 company can be formed with no profit motive. Now let's moving on to our next characteristic, that is termination of existence. A company being an artificial judicial person which only exists in the eyes of law does not die a natural death. Obviously, generally the existence of a company is terminated by means of winding up. However, to avoid winding up, sometimes company adopts straight line. If the company wants to avoid winding up, it will go on the way of reorganization, reconstruction, and amalgamation that we will study in the upcoming chapters. That's it for today's, guys. I hope you liked the video. If yes, then please give it a like and big thumbs up. Okay, goodbye guys.